In 20 years, Fannie and Freddie, according to the news, this is the biggest update on appraisals ever. And so finally, this is, I think, great news. Finally, we're here. It sounds like this has been being worked on in the background, but for you, the consumer, I'm not going to sit here and get all technical and start putting codes in a 1007 and a 1004. And you're like, what? I'm going to break this down quickly and simply for what this means for you as a consumer, what it means for an appraiser, what it probably means for agents, what it means for a lender, and ultimately what it means for your value. So here's the deal. They're going to basically coming out with a new way they're going to do appraisals. And what it really means, to break it down, simplify it, is that much more data, much more detailed, and breaking down individual things. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a house, has a pool, has a guest house, has a big master bedroom, and all this stuff. According to what I'm reading and hearing, they're going to be able to break down how big is the pool, how big is the master, how big is the guest house, and put all that information there. And so if you have a comp, it's going to show like your house is superior. So if they want to give you more value and push value because they know your house is superior, has these other, amenities and items, it's going to be able to be much more detailed out in the report, and it can help you. This also is going to probably, appraisals are going to cost more money, which, trust me, is a good thing. Depending on how you get it, just because it's a low cost appraisal, if it's a cookie cutter tract home house, I get it. But ones where it's more complicated, that's not good, because that usually results in a quick, terrible, low value report, and we don't want that. So appraisals will be slower. Appraisers will probably be backed up more. Turn times will be slower. And then also they're going to require much more data. So as I mentioned before, listing agents and realtors, they're going to be getting a lot more phone calls. Homeowners are going to have to be getting a lot more phone calls to figure out about this property. So it's going to be much more taxing on the appraiser. But the good news about this all, let me give you some real world examples. Let's assume you have a single family with an ADU. You built a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. All the other comps in the neighborhood are a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 500 square feet. Yours is 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200. Well, now they're gonna be able to go in there and break down, this is how big yours is, this is the square footage, and you should start seeing much more improved adjustments in value because we're gonna break it down. Let's say also inside your house, the rooms are a lot bigger than a neighboring house. Let's say there's much more amenities or upgrades. The pool's bigger, the backyard, you did this and that. They're gonna be able to break all this down according to what I'm reading and seeing, and just get much more in the nuances and detail. And that's why I was saying realtors are gonna have to be much more detailed with data, with information about the property, because these agents, these appraisers are gonna rely on it. What's also you're going to see is, what I'm hearing is that a lot of appraisers have been doing this a long time to move over to this new platform. A lot of people that are older in this industry, they're apparently going to just be retiring and saying, I don't want to deal with it. I think the lazy appraisers as well, they're going to have a difficult time because they're actually going to have to do more work and not just collect a fee and throw some shit against the wall. So we'll see if they stick. But the appraiser that wants to do it right, wants to help out, is passionate about getting value, changing the industry, making values more transparent, those are the ones you want. I think too, by doing this in many, many, many years with a lot more appraisals, it will only help like AI and data. So it kind of knows what's not just your house, but what's involved and inside your house. And so I think we're going to see from this much more transparency. If you really put, that extra into your house, or extra money, or that, hey, there's a comp down the street and it sold for this and mine is superior in these 7 different ways, we're going to really be able to see that, because it's going to be broken down, much more detail, much more. And then they're kind of just putting all this on one form. So it's like a report instead of like all these different appraisals for this property, that property. It seems like it's just going to be consolidated into one. So what should you prepare for? Prepare for, if you're a homeowner and you're getting a refi or a purchase, or you're buying something, you're going to need to have much more intel and data on that house. The agent's going to have to, the seller's going to have to, like the appraiser's going to have to do much more work. So it'll cost more, take longer, but this should result in higher values if that's what you get. I'm sure for the opposite, that if you have a dump of a house and they really have to look in here and get down to the nitty gritty, this could actually hurt you in the long run. So I think if your property's in great shape, you have some great amenities, and you're trying to get the maximum value, this can help. If your property is probably a shithole and needs work and stuff, maybe this will point out, it'll be more glaring and things like that. But until this gets launched, until we actually see it and implement it and we see a report done, we won't know. But I can read between the lines that we're finally getting here where we need much more transparency, much more data, and you can't just fill out these couple little things and say, here's the value, because there's much more detail, especially to luxury homes, bigger homes, investment properties, ADUs, backyards that are built out, guest homes, bigger bedrooms, more amenities, house, all that stuff. We need much more transparency and detail in that. So that is the takeaway. So I'm really excited about this because I think this is going to really help. You know, if you have a bigger pool, instead of saying, well, the normal pool is 20,000, your pool, we're going to give you 50,000. Well, your bedrooms are that much bigger than these other comps. Well, maybe we can give you a little boost there, right? Instead of just like, oh, you have more bedrooms. It's like, you know, when you talk to people and they built a custom home or they built a home or they have more of this and you're like, why don't they see that? Why don't we ever get that? Like maybe when you do remodel your home and spend $350,000 and this shithole over here, they give you an adjustment for 100 grand, you're like 100 grand, you couldn't do what I do. Maybe because they can show more and give more detail, maybe they'll give you more on that. I don't know all the facts. I'm not really getting much out of anybody because it's so new and it's not really being utilized. We can just see the writing on the wall that the industry realizes it needs much more transparency. Not every property is alike. We need to be able to explain the detail. And if you want to say, hey, this is why I valued this property more over this, there's a lot more information, data to give that underwriter, the appraiser, reviewer, or whatever. So anyways, guys, this is a quick video. I'm really excited about November this year coming out. I think it's going to be a complete game changer, but you're going to have to be more patient. You're going to have to give more data to these appraisers, and the cost is going to go up. But like I said, I'd rather pay more for a good appraisal that comes in value than pay less for a quick shitty job where we have to rebuttal it or go order another one, or it kills the deal and we have to go to another lender. So I'm over that. And with values changing and all these amenities and people adding ADUs and junior ADUs and all these different things going on, especially in like the California real estate market, you're trying to maximize square footage or maximize rental properties or uses or maximize, you know, just your property. There's a lot of things people do here for like different things, right? And so we want to show that and we want to prove that to the market that, hey, this is in this house, here's the breakdown, here's the true value. So thanks for watching. Share this with somebody. If I can help you out, reach out anytime for you guys, and we'll see you soon.